The Whitmore mansion stood tall, with golden gates, imported marble floors, and fountains that danced to music. Yet inside all that luxury lived a silence that money couldn't fill. 11-year-old Jacob Whitmore had never walked a day in his life. Born with a rare neuromuscular condition, Jacob's legs simply didn't respond. After spending millions on specialists, surgeries, and foreign treatments, his father, Gregory Whitmore, a powerful real estate mogul, gave up. He accepted that his only son would live his life in a wheelchair. Cold, calculated, and practical, Gregory poured his focus into expanding his empire, not nurturing his child's spirit. Jacob spent his days alone in his grand room, surrounded by toys he couldn't reach and walls that towered like reminders of everything he couldn't do. Nurses came and went, therapists gave up, and the staff was instructed to follow protocol, nothing more. Then came her, a new maid, hired through a local agency, quiet, polite, and black, something Gregory's elitist guests whispered about with judgmental eyes. But Gregory didn't care. He paid no attention to help, as he often called them. Her name was Melody James. Melody wasn't like the other staff. She moved with quiet purpose but sharp observation. Raised in the heart of Atlanta by a single mother who worked 3 jobs, Melody knew how it felt to be overlooked, how it felt to be dismissed without ever being known. And it didn't take long before she noticed the boy in the upstairs room. "Is that Mr. Whitmore's son?" She whispered to a senior maid. "Yeah, but don't bother. He don't talk much. He don't do much. No use wasting energy," the woman replied, stacking dishes. But Melody wasn't one to look away. She knocked gently on Jacob's door one evening, bringing in a tray of warm cookies and a tiny music box she found in the attic. Jacob glanced at her, but said nothing. "I brought you this. It's not much," she smiled, placing the box near him. "But I figured your room could use some music." Jacob looked confused. "Why are you talking to me?" he mumbled. Melody smiled again. "Because I see you." Those words, they shook something in Jacob, and from that day, Melody began to visit every evening, not because it was in her job description, but because she cared. Over the next few weeks, something in the mansion changed. Jacob, once a ghost behind cold walls, began to light up. Melody brought him stories from her childhood, played silly songs, and taught him how to paint using just his fingers. "I've never had a friend," Jacob admitted one day. "Well, now you do," Melody replied, ruffling his hair. One afternoon, as Melody helped Jacob onto his bed, she noticed a slight twitch in his toe. "Jacob, did you move just now?" He looked puzzled. "I don't think so." "Let's try something," she said gently. "I want you to focus all your energy in wiggling your big toe." For the first time in his life, Jacob tried, and the toe moved. Tears welled in Melody's eyes. She rushed to the on-site nurse, but the woman brushed it off. "Residual nerve spasms. Don't get his hopes up." Melody wasn't having it. Or maybe no one's ever believed in him long enough to find out. From that moment on, Melody began her own private mission. Every evening after her shifts, she stayed with Jacob, stretching, massaging, encouraging, and slowly, miraculously, Jacob responded. One foot twitched, then the other, then a knee bent. The impossible had begun. Months passed. Gregory Whitmore barely noticed. He was too busy with stock portfolios and high-end luncheons. To him, Jacob was a fixed reality, broken and unfixable, until one day he returned from a business trip and heard something strange echo through the mansion. Laughter. Jacob's laughter. He stormed upstairs to find his son sitting up on the edge of the bed, arms out, balancing himself while Melody clapped and encouraged him. "What is this?" Gregory snapped. "He could fall." "He's trying," Melody said, standing her ground. "For the first time in his life, your son is trying. I pay professionals. I hired doctors. If they couldn't fix him, what makes you think you can?" Melody didn't flinch. "Because I don't see him as broken. I see him as Jacob." That night, Gregory sat alone in his office, his glass of scotch untouched. For years, he blamed himself for Jacob's condition, for not being enough, for not saving his wife when she died giving birth. But Melody had forced him to face something he hadn't in years: hope. And the next morning, for the first time in 11 years, Gregory sat beside his son. "Can I watch you try again?" he asked quietly. Jacob smiled. "Only if Melody helps me." One crisp morning, the sun poured golden light into the grand living room. Melody stood behind Jacob, hands gently holding his waist. Gregory stood ahead, arms wide open. "One step at a time," Melody whispered. Jacob's legs trembled. Sweat ran down his forehead. But he didn't stop. One foot forward, then the next. Gregory gasped. Tears rolled down his face. "You're doing it, son." With Melody's steady support, Jacob crossed the room slowly, shakily, but walking. When he collapsed into his father's arms, the room burst with emotion. Not from staff, not from press, but from something much deeper: love. Weeks later, Jacob walked across the school stage to receive his first art award. The auditorium stood in applause. Gregory, now a changed man, proudly held Melody's hand. "She gave me my son," he would later tell reporters. "Melody refused money. She didn't want attention. I just did what someone once did for me," she said. "I believed." In a house where hope had disappeared, a woman with nothing more than heart and humanity did the impossible. Melody James saw what the world refused to see and helped a boy not just walk, but live. What are your thoughts on this story? Comment and subscribe Lifelines.